Alright guys, here's a recap of game week 14. We had a lot of matches this week. Obviously, we got a few matches tomorrow and the day after. But obviously, big results here like Newcastle and Liverpool, Chelsea and Southampton. Big game. Arsenal and United. A lot of games this week, so let's talk about it. Alright, so saving the best for last. Let's go to Leicester versus West Ham. Obviously, that game ended for a 3-1 victory to Leicester. Of course, it was Van Nistelrooy's debut with Leicester, and of course, he won. So, he is now undefeated in England. That's very interesting. Let's see if we can keep it up. Personally, I think he's a decent manager, but I do have to question how good is he. That's what we're going to have to figure out in the next few weeks, and I'm sure we will. Now, to quickly go through the game, Vardy scored in the 2nd minute, assisted by Bilal El Khanous. And then obviously in the 61st minute, El Khanous himself scored with Mkhitaryan as the architect. And obviously lastly for Leicester, in the 90th minute, Daka scored with Christensen assist. Of course, for West Ham, they finally got one in the last few minutes of the game. Obviously, Fulkrug, assisted by Somerville. What a gem, what a wonder kid. And yeah, obviously 3-1, that's how it ended. Now, you do got to question yourself, is this the end for Lopetegui? Because right now, it's not going good. Obviously, yes, even though Van Nistelrooy might be a good coach, you can't be losing to Leicester as West Ham. You need those 3 points. And obviously, they got 0 today. So, Lopetegui's not having a good time. And it might be the end of him very, very soon. Then we had Ipswich versus Crystal Palace, with Ipswich being at home. And, of course, Crystal Palace managed to win the game 1-0. Jean-Philippe Mateta in the 59th minute scored the winning goal. And Eberechi Eze with the assist. Now, Crystal Palace this season hasn't gone off to a good start, especially with the exciting games they had last season. I mean, Mateta cooking, Eze cooking, Elise cooking. Obviously, Elise's not here now, but I thought Glasner was a cheat code in the Premier League. That's what everyone thought, but right now, he's a bit frauding. But with that being said, away win at Ipswich, it's a good result. Some teams have been struggling with Ipswich, so it's better than it sounds. But yeah, win for Crystal Palace there. Then we had Villa home against Brentford, and of course, as you'd expect, Villa managed to do a 3-1 victory over Brentford. And to be fair to Brentford, they're, I think, in the top 6 right now, top 7, top 8 in the Premier League. And I'm sure they're still ahead of Villa even after this loss to them. I mean, they're really good this season, even without Tony. So props to them. But as for the game, Morgan Rogers with a goal in the 21st minute, with Watkins assisting him. What a player! I mean, Morgan Rogers, man. Last season we saw flashes, and now he's week in, week out starting, and he's doing very, very well, man. So props to the young lad. Obviously, Watkins 7 minutes after that in the 28th minute, scoring a penalty, and finally Matty Cash in the 34th minute, scoring a goal. No assists there. And then, obviously, Brentford managed to take a consolation goal with Mikkel Damsgaard scoring in the 54th minute. So, yeah, I mean, interesting game there. 2 teams that are in the top 8, I believe. So, yeah, moving on. Though, we had a big game win with Arsenal at home against Manchester United. Of course, 2-0 to Arsenal. Scoring with 2 centre-backs. That's a spoiler alert there. And obviously United not being able to score a goal. But if I may, I will say United have a great manager in Amorim. I'm sure of that. And obviously it's a bit too early to go away, especially against these bigger teams for them still. They need time. But they will soon be the United we once knew, because, well, maybe not all that, but they're going to be better. They're going to be way better without Eric Ten Hag, I'll tell you that for free. But yeah, as for the goal scorers, we have Jurrien Timber in the 54th minute. He got a header with Declan Rice assisting him. And then 73rd minute, William Saliba scored with, I believe it was his back or his buttocks, one of the two. And obviously Partey assisting with a header. Interesting goal. I'm pretty sure both goals came from set pieces, and this is riling up fans online, as Arsenal are now being called Corner FC. So shout out to Corner FC. They managed to get the win here. But moving on, a big game here. Chelsea versus Southampton. Obviously Southampton are at home. Chelsea came away. I'm a Chelsea fan. I enjoyed watching the match. But yeah, man, it was a 5-1 victory for Chelsea. So you'd expect it, but obviously Southampton did get a red card just before half time. But let me just get into the goal scorers. So starting off the game, Axel Disasi with a header from a corner, I believe it was. Enzo Fernandez being the architect there. Then Southampton quickly came back and scored with Joe Aribo with Kyle Walker-Peters assisting. Kyle Walker-Peters, by the way, he's a very good talent. I'm not sure if he's young anymore, but he is a good right back. But moving on, 17th minute, once again, Chelsea counterpunched with Christopher Nkunku. Obviously, this was Southampton's mistake. I think the goalkeeper tried passing into the DM, and of course, I think it was Madueke who stole it, I think, and then obviously putting in a nice quick ball to Nkunku, who scored in an open net. So, yeah, obviously, Madueke was assisting in that goal. Then, Madueke himself, in the 34th minute, decided he's going to score a beautiful goal in the bottom left corner from the right wing. It was a very good goal. Obviously, Felix with the assist there. Then we had Palmer in the 76th minute, stealing Christopher Nkunku's goal. So obviously Nkunku got the assist, but he almost scored. But Palmer came in, finished the job there, because obviously if he hadn't interfered, maybe it would have got a goal line clearance. Probably would have gone in though, but I mean, props to Palmer, smiling, him and Nkunku stealing his goal. And I think he came out on the press and said it was for his FBL managers. So shout out to Palmer, he'll treat the FBL managers right all the time. And then in the 87th minute, Jadon Sancho, short post, hard kick, went straight in, and obviously Gusto got the assist there. So shout out to Gusto. But yeah, Sancho's first goal, I think it's 6 GA for Chelsea. Brilliant player. He's definitely going to get bought by Chelsea, and props to him, man. United didn't treat him right. Ten Hag did not treat him right, in my personal opinion, and now he's at Chelsea having fun. I'm sure Amorim, though, would love a player like Sancho on his team, but unfortunately, he doesn't have that anymore because of United's past mistakes. But anyways, moving on to probably the biggest match, the most title difference making game. Obviously, Liverpool were away at Newcastle, and it seemed like they were going to win, to be honest with you, throughout the game, but Newcastle managed to tie 3-3. So obviously 6 goals here. Let me take a deep breath and get straight into the goal scorers, right? So Alexander Isak started off the goal scoring in the 35th minute with Bruno Guimaraes assisting him. And then that was obviously followed up in the 50th minute. So at halftime, to be fair to Newcastle, they were winning. And then obviously Curtis Jones scored in the 50th minute, assist by Mohamed Salah. Remember that name. All right. And then Anthony Gordon in the 62nd minute with Isak's assist scored. So 2-1 in the 62nd minute, right? Then in the 68th minute, Mohamed Salah straight away came back, scored a goal, and Trent assisted him. Then in the 83rd minute, he went on to score again with once again Trent Alexander-Arnold's assist. So Salah had an incredible game there. Obviously Trent backing him up with 2 assists. Shout out to Trent. And then in the 90th minute, once the game was almost there and done, Newcastle come and tie the game with Fabian Schär, the centre-back, scoring a sublime goal. A mistake was from Kelleher, to be honest. It was like a set piece. He went up to get it. He didn't get it. For some reason, he let it go. He probably thought it'd be a goal kick. It was not a goal kick. And obviously, Fabian Schär got to the end of the cross, I guess you could say, from Bruno Guimaraes. So 2 assists for Bruno Guimaraes. This game here was full of goals, full of events. So anyone who watched that, probably enjoyed it. For those who missed it, I'm sure you will be gutted, right? Then Manchester City at home against Nottingham Forest, who have been very, very good this season. I think they're still in the top six, so or maybe seventh for now, not too sure. But obviously, City made quick work of Nottingham Forest here. I'm pretty sure players like Hudson-Odoi weren't playing for some reason. But yeah, 8th minute, Bernardo Silva, goal. Assist from De Bruyne. Again, 31st minute, goal from who? Kevin De Bruyne. He's back and he is making City great again. What a player, man. Legendary. Forget about world class. De Bruyne is legendary. There is a conversation to had in terms of all-time Premier League midfielders. Personally, Lampard for me is still better, but it's Chelsea bias, so I'm biased. At this point, I'm not too sure, right? But moving on, right? Doku got the assist for that De Bruyne goal, and then the 57th minute, Doku scored with Erling Haaland's assist, who has been very, very shambles. That's a shambles in FBL. He's not been cooking. He's cost me a lot of points, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think we've got 4 more games left. To go through quickly, Everton at home against Wolves, 4-0. What a bad game from Wolves, man. I mean, they can't afford this. They might be relegated. It's not looking good for them. But regardless, a very interesting game. 4 goals from Everton, no assists at all. Ashley Young, 10th minute, scored, no assist. Aurel Mangala in the 33rd minute, goal, no assist. And then 2 own goals from one Wolves player, Craig Dawson. I think he's a centre-back. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But 4-0, no assists. I mean, I didn't watch it, but it must have been a scrappy game. Let's be honest. But anyways, moving on. Tottenham were away at Bournemouth and got absolutely destroyed. They looked horrible in the game. I've heard a lot of things about it. Obviously, players like Son and I forgot the other lads were rested. Werner, and I think there's one more as well, but I can't remember. Obviously, big injuries for Tottenham, so it's not a crazy loss, especially being away at Bournemouth. But obviously, Bournemouth scraping a 1-0 victory over them in the 17th minute. Dean Hutchison, I think he's a centre back, scored and then just done a chill guy pose. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Search it up on the internet if you're curious, but. Obviously, Marcus Tavernier with the assist of that goal. So, yeah, that's how that game went. Moving on, Fulham versus Brighton. 3-1 victory to Fulham. Full of goals, again. Obviously, this game, we had 2 goals, a brace from Alex Iwobi. So, yeah, 4th minute, Iwobi goal. And no assists there, I believe. And then, before they scored again, Carlos Baleba, the young defensive midfielder at Brighton, scored with Pedro's assist. Obviously, it was 1-1 at that point. And then Fulham go on to finish the game off with an own goal from Brighton, Matt O'Reilly, in the 79th minute. So 2-1 to Fulham. And then in the 87th minute, Iwobi scores one more goal, his last goal, his brace, with Anthony Robinson as the architect. So 3-1 there. And that is all for the games. So let me know what you guys think. Which teams do you guys support? Do you guys watch any matches? Let me know. But as it stands, Liverpool are ahead of every team with 7 points. Second to that is Chelsea and Arsenal. Chelsea being second. There's questions on if they're in the title race, and I'm going to get into that in a second. And then obviously City third, Brighton fifth. Obviously, as you can see, Fulham are 6th, Nottingham Forest 7th, Villa 8th. Spurs are 10th, not a good look for them. Newcastle, they managed to get a point away from Liverpool, but they've been struggling this season, as obviously they sit in 12th right now. And Man United behind them, but they've got a lot of points in the last two game weeks, and yeah, I think they're going to finish in Europe this season. That is my opinion. Especially them being 4 points away from fifth. I mean, it's not as bad as as it sounds. Them being 13th, I'm sure they're gonna finish in Europe. I'd bet a lot of money on that. But obviously, as you can see, Wolves are 19th. They are in the relegation zone. Sorry. They are having a very bad season. I don't know. I don't understand how. You have players like Mateus Cunha, who is sensational, who's beautiful to watch, and he's sitting in 19th right now, even though he's got a lot of points on FBL. I'll tell you that. Unless they're out of the relegation zone, they might survive this. I mean, they're ahead of Palace, who are rated very highly because of their manager Glasner. I mean, what has happened to Glasner? I wondered this before, but it's a bit of a shambles. I mean, regardless, this game week had a lot of events. Obviously, Amarim's first loss, Van Nistelrooy's first win, obviously his debut. Lopetegui looking poor. I mean, he might be sacked very, very soon. I'd definitely say he's right up there with the candidates like Ange Postecoglou, who are right now under a microscope. Yeah, Spurs. I mean, of course they have a lot of injuries, so I do feel bad for them. But I mean, at this rate, they are not going to finish in Europe. And with that being said, Nottingham Forest look like they're going to finish in Europe, being interesting as they were literally in such threats last year and the year before in terms of getting relegated. So shout out to Nottingham Forest for turning back the time. And yeah, man, will Leicester survive? Will Wolves be relegated? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. But before I end the video, I got two questions. Are Chelsea in the title race? And will Liverpool be champions? Now, my opinion, I think, especially as a Chelsea fan myself, right? You cannot think it's better to not have our hopes up yet, right? I think obviously we have Spurs on the weekend, Super Sunday. If we get a win there, and the one, and then maybe two after that, if we get the next three games as wins, I might then consider ourselves in a title race, because I do think we're going to drop points somewhere. We're still young. We still make a lot of mistakes, and maybe by the end of the season, we're not going to be making as much mistakes. But by then, we might have dropped too many points to be in the title race. That's my personal opinion. And as for Liverpool, I think they will be champions. I mean, right now, City aren't looking at their best. De Bruyne is back, but I do think they still need to get a defensive midfielder in January to be able to survive and obviously stay in the title race. I think Liverpool will drop points because, I mean, it's Arne Slot. No offense. I know he's done an incredible job, but I think because it's his first season, he will eventually make one or two mistakes here and Liverpool will drop points. And with that being said, I think Arsenal will not win a title this season. It's just something about them, especially them, I mean, relying on corners to win games. I mean, props for the corner work, but there's no way that results in a title. Does that make sense, right? Chelsea, again, young team. We're going to have to wait to see, but I'd say no. I'd say Liverpool will win it. I think City will catch up as well near the end, but I think Liverpool have what it takes to win. It's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you for game week 15.